So 2 minutes in, let me reclaim this time and hop on in here. Everyone, my name is Jeffery McGonigle. I am one of the co-founders of Power Real Estate Group in Southern California. We have about 150 agents on our team. I'm also the co-founder, along with my partner on this call, Maria. We own My VA Sidekick, and we support right around almost close to 100 clients, real estate clients right now. And today I really want to walk you guys through what one of the agents on our team, Stephanie Haines. Hey, Steph.
Hey, thanks for joining, everyone.
Walk you through what Steph has been able to accomplish in 2 years of working with a virtual assistant. So without further ado, let me introduce you to who Stephanie really is, right? So today we're going to be listing smarter, not harder. And I'll show you what Stephanie's been doing. Stephanie has last year, her VA coming in, she was able to grow 70K off of her with her ISA appointments that the ISA was able to set for her. This year, just like everything in real estate, we know everything compounds. Stephanie's been able to, in the first quarter, lock up $17 million. And, without, that's like, for anybody, that's a lot. And overall, she's been able to, these are her numbers for the first quarter. First quarter, Stephanie, you locked up 9 sellers. You closed 9 sellers. You were able to close 2 buyers. Right now, you have active 4 sellers on the market, 2 pending sales. And then you have 6 that are coming soon, totaling $17 million in volume and $380,000 in GCI. So this actually does work. And it's just understanding what the process is and the systems that you've built. Without further ado, tell me about it.
Yeah. So like you said, Jeff, things compound, right? So when I first started, it was just myself working with a prospecting VA. Her name is Leanne. She came on, started 20 hours a week. And then as I started getting busier and I really saw, how much value she was adding, I increased her hours to about 30 hours a week.
So not 40?
No, she's on 30. She's not on 30. Yeah.
My bad. With these numbers.
So it was Leanne and I for the first year. We were really working heavily together. She was like my right hand. Really, mainly we were prospecting buyers. I wasn't really working with sellers yet at that time. And then as I started getting busier, I was 6 months pregnant. I had my first baby, and then I was like, hey, I think I need a partner. So I started partnering with someone at the office. Her name is Brittany Scott. She's amazing. Shout out to Brittany. She's been in the industry for like 7 or 8 years, so she had a lot of experience. I was getting a lot more seller leads, so I wanted to partner up with someone that had that experience. I already had the VA helping me with the prospecting, so Brittany and I started working together. I was pregnant again, and that's when I talked to Jeff, and I was like, okay, everything's moving really well with me, Brittany, and Leanne, but I'm going to start phasing out, right? I need someone to kind of help us take over my role. So that's how I came up with these two systems, really. So the executive VA, that's Leanne's role, and then we have the prospecting VA, which is Jade. So really what the prospecting VA is doing is she's following up with all of our new leads. She's calling sellers every day, making sure deals of the week are being sent out for our new listings. So she's going in on our open houses, circle prospecting through our ponds, sending out the mailers, tracking those mailers, any Facebook leads that come in, she's adding those into the system, and making sure we're just not missing anybody new.
Cool. So understanding, so that was a lot, right?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, and I was there for this, guy, so yeah. I know. 2 years ago, she's like, hey, I'm getting busy. I think it got to a point where you had like 5 listings signed, but we cover a large area. What are you going to do to maintain the prospecting as you go and as you get busier? So you brought in Leanne, and Leanne was 20 hours a week coming into the system, helping you prospect. As you got busier, Brittany and you started a partner. Then you added in, you had the baby, right? It's a couple of weeks, came back, crushed it. Then from there, we're talking about a year and a half ago, you're like, hey, or a year ago, you're like, hey, I'm going to have another baby. And I believe a lot of our conversation dealt with what are you going to, like, what happens come February when you have the baby. And it wasn't until October where you were able to say, like, hey, I need to start preparing. When did Leanne come onto the team?
So Leanne started, it'll be 2 years, I believe, in August.
Okay.
And then Jade really started at the beginning of 2025.
Yep. Paul has a question. What lead sources types from the VA? ISA, cold call? Literally, go ahead. Tell her, Steph.
Yeah, so the lead source, there's, we have multiple like prospecting platforms, Zillow being one of them. I have a lot of open house leads as well. So I have my own pawns. So every time, I run an open house, all of those leads get put into a certain pawn. I probably have over like 500 leads in there. So they'll call those ones heavily as well.
Yeah. And then, and Paul, we're really like on this page. So the portals that we have is going to be the Zillow, the Clevers, the Home Light, all of those things, right? Then when you're the big focus that we really try to focus on with the VAs is don't just have them calling your inbound, low hanging fruit. What about the open house, right? When I'm going through one-on-ones with agents, majority of the agents are only calling an open house lead like 3 or 4 times, right? When you have a VA and their goal is they have a 7-day plan, a nurturing plan, like of what happens, you're able to stay top of mind to a buyer who might have walked into a couple of months ago. Then from there, you have the mailers, and you're sending out mailers and tracking that data with the VA, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right. And then Facebook ads for every single one of the listings are being set up, and the inbound opportunities go to Jade, your prospecting VA, to be able to have those conversations and then work on figuring out whether this is going to be an appointment, phone appointment, in-person appointment, showing, a listing, and then you have it written out. You put it on here, calendar. What's important about the calendar?
Yeah, so the calendar, that really came about because there's 4 of us, right, on our team. So we all have different lives, different appointments and things like that. So aside from my personal calendar that I share with Leanne directly, we created a shared calendar. And on that shared calendar, that's where they're putting all of the appointments that they set. So
and what we're looking at is your shared calendar, correct?
This is just the shared calendar. My personal one is crazy. So I try to keep this one cleaner, just with, appointments that they set and any, specific times that were not available. We try to do appointments in the morning because Brittany, she has kids as well. So we're working around like their pickup schedules and things like that. But of course, we'll make exceptions, as you can see on the schedule. But this just helps guide them so they know when they're on the phone where they can set the appointment. So we don't have to call that seller and reschedule because, that kind of looks bad. We want a really strong first impression. So that's what this is for.
Okay, cool. So to clarify, as the VAs are making phone calls, if they have an opportunity, if they create an opportunity, they don't need to call you to verify what needs to happen next, right? They're literally going to your calendar and saying, hey, Pauline, I see that, you're available to, want to speak to Stephanie, literally selecting a day and a time to plug into your calendar. All right, cool. Now that we've talked about what Jay does, so we talked a little bit about the prospecting. I could kind of answer some of your questions, Paul. So how about expires, for sale by owners, and probates? Stephanie, when you're having them call, do they ever call any of these groups?
No, we're not focusing. Like I haven't focused on that with them at all. It's really the sellers that are being generated from those lead platforms, and then the open houses. That's been what my focus is with them.
So you're trying to match the two coming together. So I got a listing. I'm calling the pawns in the database to get people to come to my open houses. The leads from those open houses, you're trying to match LP Mama, Real Scout, Build Out, and now play matchmaker for both sides.
Correct, because maybe I have a listing and I already have the buyer in the system, so we'll filter through and make sure they're calling.
All right, cool. So what are we looking at right now?
So this is Leanne's schedule. So she's like the executive, more admin VA, and this is her breakdown. So this is literally what she's doing every day. So from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., this is what she's doing, right? So she's checking in on everything that happened from the day before, making sure everything's updated in all of the systems. And then she's going to start working on any admin tasks, any comps that she has to run for me, any listing presentations that she needs to put together for me. And then she comes back in the evening and she'll be doing the seller follow-up.
Okay, so she does prospecting as well.
She does,
so
yeah.
In 2 hours from 7 so she works a total of 6 hours. In 2 hours, she's helping you prepare for your day. And then for 4 hours a day, she's helping you prepare for your tomorrow.
Correct.
All right, I can dig it. Let me get to the next slide. All right. So what are we looking at right now, and who's actually doing this?
Yes. So this is what I put together, mainly because we had so many listings at one time that it was getting crazy, and we had to focus. So Leanne is doing basically every step of this. So an appointment gets set. Then once an appointment is set, she's going to prepare the comps.
Set by who?
Either one of us.
Okay. So any appointment that gets set for a listing, she does it. Okay.
Yeah. So she'll start running through this system. So she's going to prepare the comps. She's going to run the property profile, and she's going to create the listing agreement. And she's going to add all of those 3 things into my CRM.
Okay.
Okay. From there, I'm going to review with her. So based on the comps that she uploaded, I'm just going to go in and confirm, quickly do my own little search, make sure that I agree with what, she's found. And then once I approve it, she's going to go in and create the listing presentation, which is a template that I already have set. They really just have to go in and copy paste, changing the information.
Wow.
Okay. And then so with the presentation, really what she's adding, it's pretty simple. She just has to add in the property profile info, the stats for the area, days on market, all that kind of stuff. And then the 3 best comps that we found. And then again, I'm going to approve the listing presentation before anything is added to the CRM, or sometimes, sent to the client if an appointment is missed or anything like that. So I'm going to be approving this 2 steps of the way, but it saves me, 45 minutes. This would take me an hour, but it might take me 15 minutes now.
Okay.
So yeah. So then she sends me that copy, right? I approve it, and then I'll add that, or she'll add it to our follow-up boss, which is our CRM, so we can go on and get on with the presentation, the listing appointment.
So far, just to do a quick recap. You have one person hunting for you all day, looking for opportunities, right? And then you have another person who is preparing you for your daily opportunities and the opportunities you're going to have for tomorrow. When an opportunity, let's say an appointment is scheduled for a listing, you only need to check in 2 times to review the comps and the overall presentation so that you're ready for tomorrow.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now what happens after you are able to, so let's say you go on the listing appointment and you crush it. What do you do, and what does your VA do?
So, once the listing is signed, I'll let Leanne know, hey, we got a new listing, super excited. So she'll do the new listing form, which is an office system that we have that sends it to the TC team, letting them know all of the information. And then everybody gets a copy of that form once it's completed. So I get a copy, Brittany gets a copy, our TC Laura gets a copy. And then what Leanne is going to do is she's going to email escrow and title, basically to pre-open the file. She's going to email the client like, hey, congratulations that you listed your home. I can actually show you guys an example of the email template that she uses. I can share, right?
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. And really, we did this because, where are you? Can you guys see it?
Yep.
So this gets sent to the client, and we did this because, we were so busy, and sometimes the TCs or, escrow would reach out to the client before we had a chance to send an email of introducing them. So this really helps the client, feel at ease and know exactly who's going to be reaching out to them.
So this is not even going to escrow. This is going directly to your client saying, hey, and this might be the same person that Jade or Leanne, they set the appointment. You had the appointment, you crush the appointment, you come back, and then they start they're still a part of the process saying, hey, congratulations, we open escrow. You're going to start getting emails from these 3 people. Here's the role they play. And all right, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, so it really helps them know what's going on.
Okay. All right. What else is on here?
Okay, so where are we at? So she emails the client, and then she's actually going to reach out to our title company to get some circle prospecting data. That way she can have that when she needs to create the mailers, because a lot of the times you have to upload a file, right? So after she emails the client, she's gonna already know, because I'll give her like a summary once I get the listing signed of if we need a handyman or a cleaner. If we do need those, she's gonna schedule those. So she has a list of vendors that she can reach out to and get those scheduled. And then she's also gonna schedule the photos, our media day, with the TC team, who's gonna schedule the photographer directly. So on that same day, she's also going to schedule my listing video. So when I show up for photos, that same day I can do the listing video.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And then once all that's ready, right, like we've done, let's say, the cleaning and the handyman work, and the listing video is ready to go, she's going to go into our system and post that there's an open house available to the office. So it's a form that Jeff really created, that we can post our open houses, and any agents can go in and select if they want to host it. So once I have that first open house date, those agents can schedule it. So Leanne is doing that. She's making sure that that's on that site.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I thought that was the entire time. Okay. All right.
And then so we have the open house date, right? We know when we're going on the market. So now she can reach out to the design team, get an open house flyer created. And then from there, she can start promoting the marketing and basically promoting our first open house. So what she's doing is she's calling and sharing it with other agents, whether that be in our office, or other local agents in the area. They're also both Leanne and Jade are going to send out deal of the week emails. So that's a template that I already have made. And basically any new listing that we have coming, they're going to send that out and let people know that there's a new deal available. They're also going to circle prospect the pond, and it's really easy for them to even send that open house flyer to any of the potential leads that are interested, to invite them.
Okay. Yeah. So, and like you said, you are using the database to constantly stay in front of people, right? So it's like, hey, new opportunity. Are you interested? Here's how to get more information. Open house opportunity coming soon. Proper. Anybody that you mentioned, I noticed, because we're cleaning up the ponds right now in our follow boss, and you have your ponds broken down into open houses and different structures and different funnels for where they're at. Are these things that the VAs have access to? Is this where the VAs are making, your ISAs are making calls from?
So the VAs have access to all of my ponds. And like you said, they're organized into different sections. So the open house pond, that's a great one for them to kind of go in and match. Because, well, for example, I have a listing in Lake Forest, and I already had a listing in that community. So all of those people that came into my first open house, they're reaching out to all those people because we have a new unit available.
Guys, this is like basic real estate. And I haven't heard what Stephanie does yet, other than the listing appointment. So now, like, it's just understanding that there's a lot that goes into being able to get these results, to be able to really move your team as they get better and as your business starts to grow. You mentioned earlier that these are things that you were technically doing when all you had was Leanne making phone calls, right?
Yeah, so I used to do this all myself. And that's when I kind of started losing it, because I felt like I was just in this, like, a loop of doing all of this for 10 different listings all day, every day. And I wasn't, or I'd be working till like 10 o'clock at night getting this done because I was on a listing appointment, or, I was driving around. So moving her into like this role and then bringing in another VA to do the prospecting has really opened up my schedule a lot.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
So when it talks about training, we just went over a lot. So they're doing the prospecting for you. They are preparing you for your appointments. After you handle appointments, they're literally taking care of the entire launch of the process. How do you train your VAs and your team and ISAs to be able to, help you run your business?
Yeah. So the training, when Leanne started, she wasn't doing everything. It was really baby steps. So I was sending her videos on how to do everything. Eventually I gave her access to the MLS where she can do the comps, right? So videos on how to do comps. And then that goes into, well, there's different kinds of comps, right? So I started breaking down basically videos for everything and recording anything that I was doing. I would record it and then I could send it to her. And I can show you, I have a file of all of the videos.
Stephanie, take over, girl. This is yours.
So I made this little guide, and basically the purpose isn't just for Leanne, but in case, she ever leaves, right? I can give this to any of the VAs that start with me. So, how to look up properties that are available on the MLS, how to search for vacant land, because those are all different things, right? Not everything's the same. How to create the email templates on Follow Up Boss so they can go in and add them into their Follow Up Boss. How to share properties by email or text link. Every client's different. The new open house system, so how to navigate that. Reverse prospecting on the MLS. The listing process overview, how to do the listing presentation. So it's really something that they can go back and reference if ever they have a question. And then if the question's still not answered, they can always reach out to me. I'm talking to them, or at least I'm talking to Leanne multiple times a day on Slack.
Yeah. It adds up. Yeah, that's a lot. And so a lot of times when I meet with, Maria's on this call as well, a lot of times when I meet with individuals who are looking to get VAs, we find a bottleneck in it is that they think that you hire a VA and then that VA is magically going to do all of this for you. What has been your experience, Stephanie?
It's a lot of training, but the VAs, they do come with like basic training, but everybody's different, right? There's a lot of people that have VAs in the office and they might work differently than I do. So that's why I put together my own training guide, and it's really helped them grow and see how I like to work. And we've been doing now like a role play on Fridays. And I've really started seeing results with Jade, who's the newer VA, on her calls, and her appointment set have been like taken off just from, I think we're on week like 6 of role play with them.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And so you guys are going over objection handling, and you're going over, you have it written here that you also do call listening through Shiloh. Can you show us kind of anything that you guys are doing?
Let me show you the Shiloh account. So we'll do a call review on Friday, and it's myself, Leanne, Jade, and then I also opened it up to other people in the office that have VAs and want to join. So sometimes other agents join and sometimes other VAs join. But this was basically a call that Jade had, and she set the appointment with a seller. And you'll see on Shiloh, it gives you a call rating. It gives you the transcript, so I can even go back, either listen to the call or, read the transcript of the call. But what's super cool is that it gives you agent coaching tips. So it gives me an idea of, what she did really well during the call and then possible improvements. So we'll go over that. We'll go over that on Friday. I'll ask them, hey, you've done probably 500, 600 calls this week. Pick the ones that you want us to look at. And a lot of the times they're picking the ones and saying like, hey, what could I do better? Where did I go wrong? But this one was a great call. She set the appointment. And then it also gives us like action items, which I'll show you here. So it gives her tips on like confirm with Stephanie if she's available to see. His name was Frank's property. If Stephanie's unavailable, what to do. So it's a really good little technique. And then we also practice objection handling. So we're kind of being proactive, and I'm letting them know like, hey, this lead generation account is different than this one. So you might get this objection with Zillow, but you won't get this objection with Clever, right? So preparing them for what's to come as well and practicing that.
I love that. And so, guys, a lot of the things that she's doing right here for you guys is basically very similar to how we run the team, right? So when we're having coaching opportunities with Stephanie, it looks very similar to this. Pulling up your calendars, looking at what your tasks are. It's looking at what, what can you delegate? What do you have an SOP for? And then same thing I'm doing with the agents. I'm going in and we're listening to calls and giving constructive feedback on different ways for them to improve and to build out different training and different campaigns. Paul, I know one of your questions was like, who do you guys use for mailers? Like, we help a lot with the agents. First, we use like batch leads. Why? Because we come from an investment side of the world, right? And I want the agents to have a one-stop shop to be able to pull data, but also skip trace that data, and then upload clean data into the CRM so the VAs can not make 500 calls and one person picked up. All right. It's like, so a lot of these different things are happening all at the same time. One thing I wanted to highlight on here is as Stephanie came, I mentioned like 3 years ago, right? I think we're almost at 3 years.
Yeah.
So in 3 years, year one, she learned real estate. She had just got her license. Year two, she gets busy in real estate and we start to focus on leverage. I went back and read Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And it's a little red book that every real estate agent probably has somewhere. And you are literally following the same steps that are in that book to be able to leverage, right, your admin, work on your lead system, and run an effective listing business that now turns into you double-ending multiple deals or creating clients from people coming into your open house to be able to possibly hit $1 million in GCI this year. I think that's absolutely amazing. Right now, I want to kind of open it up. Does anybody have any questions that they can answer, that Stephanie can answer for you guys? I know Paul has some questions in there, but he had wrote some notes. Anybody else? Anything that I missed that I didn't answer? Southern California, mailers, batch, automated systems. All right. Well, guys, I hope today was helpful. This is a visual breakdown of what and how to utilize a virtual assistant to be able to scale your business. She's doing this in less than 3 years of having a real estate license. She's doing this by documenting her processes and processes. I never know which one it is. And being able to communicate that clearly and setting up her team of virtual assistants to be able to be successful, right? So if you're going to grow a team, if you're going to grow your business, just make sure you're pouring in and doing everything you possibly can, because the fruits of your labor, you will reap what you sow and you shall compound. So hope that was helpful. Once again, my name is Jeffery McGonigle. This is RECC. I'm out. Stephanie, appreciate you. Thank you.
I think we have one question, Jeff, in here.
We have one more question, Jeff.
Oh, sorry. How would you recommend starting with a VA? How would you recommend starting with a VA? Go ahead, Steph.
I mean, I would start, I started 20 hours a week with her, and she was just helping me prospect. And then little by little, I was giving her more responsibility. So teaching her things, kind of like I learned when I started real estate, right? You start with calling. And then I remember sitting down with Jeff, hey, how do I do comps? I also didn't want her to feel overwhelmed, right? So really just doing it kind of in baby steps and then making sure that they're mastering every little thing. And then they can start taking on more. So I started just with one. I don't know if you're working with buyers or sellers, but training them specifically on that. She was doing comps with me for my buyer tours, right? Before I went to go see a house, she would help me with that. So just, starting small with something, whether it's buyers or sellers, and having them master that, and then adding on, seeing where they can help you more and free up your time.
And DePaul, like, it really starts to where's the bottleneck in your business, right? So if I'm not looking at your business, I would recommend everybody start with an executive assistant, because no one really loves the paperwork. No one really loves to check. I'm not sure about you guys. I get hundreds of emails about things I've never signed up for, right? And all of this happens to start giving you more time to do higher money-making activities. Stephanie's main money-making activity today is be prepared for a listing. She's not she can make the phone calls, but that's not her main. Someone is making phone calls 8 hours a day. She's going to check in, and as the preparation for the appointment goes through, gives approval, 15 minutes, what used to take an hour and a half. Now she's done on that. She crushes the appointment. After the appointment, she documented her entire process to actually having a listing go live, and that is built out for her. And now that's done for her as well, giving her more time to be like, think about what she's going to do this year. Last year, she had a baby. This year, she had a baby. And she's already in the first quarter on pace to do $1 million in GCI, right? This is doable. It is, but it's the preparation work that takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It ranges, Paul. Let me hop off and I'll kind of give you a call in regards to that. Meg, if you can get me Paul's contact and shoot that over. But even what I just did right there, I know, Paul, we have you registered, so I'm going to get a text message with your number. Let every bottleneck in your business, as you grow and you build it out, let it be, have an SOP for it, have a structure for it, and don't ever leave anything. Stephanie is still double checking the comps, right? Stephanie is still doing, she's still a lot that's actually going in here. And congratulate Stephanie, because guys, she's doing this and she just had 6 weeks of maternity leave.
Well, that's how it started, right? Because I wanted more. Well, I needed the time off, and also I want to spend time with my kids. So I had to free up time and just focus on the things that are making me money.
And that's where it starts. That's why I said it starts with leverage, then focus on leads, focus on maximizing everything you can get out of a listing. All right. Any other questions, guys? All right. I appreciate everybody for joining us. Thank you, Stephanie. You crushed it. Thank you, team. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Out of here.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for joining.